So hello and welcome to another video. Today's focus is going to be on the PEARLSCALE goldfish. I can see some footage there of the PEARLSCALE goldfish. I just want to start by saying a massive thank you to Harry from Ping Pong Pearl Scales because he breeds these fish, and in order to get the information that I've got in this video, I asked lots and lots of questions, did some research as well, but I did ask Harry a lot of questions. So if you don't know who Ping Pong Pearl Scales are, they're a UK based company that breeds pearl scales, sells other aquatic goods and other fish as well. I'll put a link to their website below. But yeah, I wanted to also make it clear which fish and which footage was provided by Harry from Ping Pong Pearl Scales. So I put a little symbol in the corner. Every time that pops up, that's going to be Harry's fish. I also used some other footage from other people that shared it and made sure I credited them as well. Yeah, they really do have some great quality fish at some really good prices on their website, so it's definitely worth checking them out. So a little bit about the history of PEARLSCALE goldfish. It's a native Chinese goldfish that was imported to Japan in the 1950s. And it's not, I did some research, I couldn't work out exactly how they came to exist in the first place, but they are named Chinshurin in Japan because their name written in Chinese characters reads the same way in Japanese. So it most likely means that a goldfish has scales that are kind of like rare pearls. That's what it means. I've put a little picture together here of the different varieties that I'll be looking at in this video, and there's a selection here that come from different places, and we've had to give them kind of their most common name really. So there's many different varieties. We're going to try and explore them over the next few videos. So we've got the modern PEARLSCALE here. This one was named the modern PEARLSCALE because if you called it a classic PEARLSCALE, that looks slightly different. That's got longer fins, whereas the modern PEARLSCALE that we're calling here, or Harry named it the modern PEARLSCALE, kind of looks like the ones you're seeing and has been sort of the one you'd most commonly see, I guess. So they're quite a long fish compared to some of the other varieties, not as spherical as some of the others we're going to look at. They've got a forked tail. They're commonly red and white and a nacreous fish, so they can really exhibit every kind of colour. They're that kind of variety. Or quite rarely they come in sort of a kinrin colour, which is the kind of when they've got those shiny scales on them. So they come from China, however they are bred and from fish from other places, as we talked about originally, because that's why we call them kind of the modern PEARLSCALE. And their eyes are just kind of like a regular fish's eyes, okay, so not protruding out in any way. And you can see there they're flat. Got some really nice examples here. These are actually from a pet shop I saw locally. They were really cheap. I couldn't believe the price on them. And yeah, I mean they're quite common. They are kind of increasing in how rare they are, because there is the Tiku goldfish, which we're going to look at or Mousehead, we're going to look at that in another section, and that's tends to be one that people choose more because it is such a round fish. But we could call this kind of the most common or just the standard PEARLSCALE that you may see in shops. Got some lovely examples here that have been bred by Harry, and you can see with this type of fish, they're generally kept in a kind of low flow environment because of their body shapes, and generally just on something like a sponge filter. So you can see how that doesn't allow too much movement in the water. The next type of PEARLSCALE we're talking about is the crown PEARLSCALE. So the crown PEARLSCALE, you can see, is very round. It has a kind of, it's got more rounded lobes on its tail as well, and it has got this crown, is what you'd call it, I guess, kind of bubble on the top of its head, a bit like when you see bubble eye goldfish, but this one's placed on the top of its head. And they can also come in lots of different colours, you know, range of calico colorations, because they can often bred with orandas to end up looking like this. In fact, another name given to them is the PEARLSCALE oranda. I've seen that written before. Some of this footage is from Star Fisheries when I did a visit on there, well, it's a long time ago now, so not sure if these prices reflect what they'd be now, but that was maybe 10 years ago when they were at their old facility. So yeah, they're also called a Hamanishiki, which is the name given to them in Japan. And yeah, I mean, this is a ping pong pearl scales variety here. We can see it's got that crown developing on its head there. So their eyes tend to be, well, not protruding in any way. It's kind of what you call, I guess, a regular eye. Here's some more footage that was shared with me by koiexport.com, and these are some young fish, some young hamanishiki. So you can see there, they haven't quite got their head growth yet. That will develop over time. But really nice fish nonetheless. Nice red and white patterning on there. Beautiful fish in my opinion. And we've also got the next one, which is the Mousehead. I did mention this earlier, or tiku, or ping pong pearl scale, this is sometimes called, because of that really spherical shape. It's you know, so round. You can see that there with this footage from above that was shared with me. And like I said, I've popped all the video credit on here. I want to make sure you know where all this footage has come from. Lots of people have been really kind to share this with me. Good thing about the hobby, that everybody seems to be really welcoming and sharing some footage. So yeah, I mean, they've got a shorter tail, tend to be not as long as some of them anyway, as the last fish we saw. Commonly they're kind of red and white, nacreous fish, but you know, eyes again, quite a standard looking eye, not protruding in any way. An origin tend to come from Malaysia, this fish, so put it down to Malaysian origin, and they are quite common, becoming more common now, almost overtaking the regular pearl scale or the standard pearl scale that we talked about previously. So it's really clear in this particular video how spherical the fish are, but as well as that, the scales, they've got that kind of pearl shape to them, which gives them the name, and that's actually because they've got calcium carbonate in them. So this is one of those fish that I believe definitely needs that low flow environment. I mean, all pearl scales do, but you can see how spherical they are, and they're still swimming about and feeding and everything fine. It's not, you know, but it is one of those things where a low flow environment, you can see how round that particular fish is there as well. Very round. So that's why they've got their name, that ping pong or Mousehead, tiku, all these different names that really mean for the same fish. So next on the list, we've got the telescope eye pearl scale, or tele pearl, sometimes called dragon eye. You'll see in this footage that was taken at the ping pong pearl scales how large those eyes are. This is from a different place, this is from a shop near me, but those eyes protrude out, really different to the others we've seen so far. So they are very round, like the other fish. I mean, they're still a pearl scale shape, but they tend to have shorter tails generally, and commonly found in red and white. These ones you can see are named dragon eye pearl scale at the local shop, and very cheap, to be honest with you. That price, I thought that was really quite a good price for those. And yeah, no, they've can have good black traits in them because of crossbreeding, and yeah, they've got these large protruding eyes, which you can see there, and that kind of, I guess, kind of complements in some way the round body that people breed for. So last on the list, we have the dragon eye crown pearl scale, also called the horu, and that's in Japan, or the demi hamanishiki. Now, since it's demi on the front of it, that tends to be a fish that has those protruding eyes. And you can see here is an example. And what it is, if you want to think about it in simple terms, is kind of a cross between the crown pearl scale and the telescope pearl scale, because it has those protruding eyes, but it also has the crown on the top of it, like what we'd call maybe the pearl scale aranda. So you can see this example here from Zara's Fancies. She shared that with me. Really nice markings throughout his tail, actually. I think this one looks particularly nice. I thought it was a nice close-up shot that really showed the kind of head bulge as well as the eyes. Not as large as some of the ones we've seen before, but that cross between the two, dragon eye pearl scale aranda, is kind of what we're looking at here, I guess. So nice clip. You can see it from all different angles, and interesting coloration on this one as well. Ping pong pearl scales, didn't actually have any at that time of filming this, but this is one that he's kept previously a long time ago, so he shared that footage with me. So yeah, really interesting fish. This was a combination really of the crown telescope pearl scale and the dragon eye as well. It was produced by a goldfish lover in Akaho, which is a city in Japan, and it was named Horu because in Japanese it was named after the Ho in Akaho and the Ru in the Japanese, which is the Japanese for dragon eye. So that's kind of where it's got that name before. The ones you're seeing here wouldn't necessarily count as being named a Horu, and that's because they don't originate, well, they're not from Japan. It did take me a lot of time actually, but I did manage to find some footage of some blue Horu straight from Japan, so I'll pop that in just a second. But these three, I just thought really nice to see them from above these varieties, because you can really see how those eyes stand out and the patterning in the tail. So we've got some more footage here of some younger ones from koiexport.com. They had lots of footage they were willing to share with me that was more of younger fish, so I thought it was worth seeing that as well, seeing them before they developed those crowns on them. But you can see there, nice metallic fish, and the eyes are protruding. But yeah, it's an interesting fish here. It's a combination. And coming up now, so we've got these. This is the footage of the ones that would be considered a blue color. So they would be Horu, count as that, and they're from Japan as well. So yeah, thought it was definitely worth including some footage of those as well. So they're the kind of fish that I wanted to talk about really, those 5 different varieties of pearl scales today. I want to do some more videos like this in the future. I have done some, in the past of other varieties, and I just think it's nice to showcase them, even if it's not a type that you keep. It's still nice to see what is available and where they come from, and footage tends to be kind of all over the place. So by me collecting it together, we can end up with some little videos. And if it's the kind of thing you want to see in the future, feel free to subscribe. I've got some more lined up of different types. I'm working on one on Ranchu at the moment as well. And yeah, I just thought I'd leave you with a bit more footage from ping pong pearl scales. Again, I'm going to leave the description, the link to the website. They've got social media accounts as well, ping pong pearl scales. So if you fancied having a look at them, I know they'd appreciate it. It was really helpful with all this information and footage that was shared. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I've got loads more lined up. So if you want to follow along, then please feel free and hit that subscribe button. But yeah, thanks for watching again, and stay safe.